In the charming beach town of Georgetown, South Carolina, a vivacious 32-year-old devoted dad, known for his infectious energy and undeniable charisma, is loved by everyone around him. But when this larger-than-life personality suddenly vanishes, a wave of panic sweeps through the community. Friends and family are left reeling, desperate to uncover the mystery behind his disappearance. What happens when love becomes fatal? This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast with Open to Love.
March 9th, 2017. It's a beautiful Thursday morning in Georgetown, South Carolina, a quiet beach community of less than 10,000.
It's a very beautiful town with a lot of history.
It's a little bit of a slower life here. People move here from all over the world to relax and enjoy the beach.
But this morning, one Georgetown resident is in the midst of a crisis.
Hi, I need to file a missing persons report.
That morning, Brittany Green walked into the Georgetown police station and said the father of her children, Leon Harrison Jr., had disappeared.
When was the last time you heard from him?
It's been about 2 weeks.
Brittany explains that the Harrison family has been conducting their own search for Leon, without success.
They went to his job and talked to people and realized when everybody got together that no one had heard from him.
According to Brittany, this is completely out of character for Leon.
He was a reliable father and would never go this long without seeing his kids or letting them know where he was.
He's always answering the phone and trying to keep in touch with us.
Him not calling was such a huge red flag.
And now she's beginning to fear the worst.
The whole time I was scared for my kids, scared for myself because no one heard from him.
Something had happened to him.
32-year-old Leon Harrison Jr. always knew how to make the people around him smile.
We call him JR because of the junior in his name.
He just likes to make everybody happy, no matter what kind of mood he's in. He just likes making people happy.
He's funny. He's a jokester. He loves to joke around. He has a big personality.
But at just 18 years old, JR made a life-changing decision.
Going straight into the military, right out of high school, it's a lot of responsibility.
He served in Korea. He also served in Iraq.
And between deployments, a beautiful young woman caught his eye.
What you doing out here all by yourself?
He was at a party at his cousin's place, and that's where he met Brittany Green.
He had this smile, and he automatically started telling jokes. I love to tell jokes, so I just knew I have to talk to him.
So I wonder, is it all right if I take you out sometime?
Okay, I can be down with that.
Okay.
After hitting it off in their hometown, JR and Brittany began a long-distance relationship.
He was sent to Korea at the time, so I talked to him like 2, maybe 3 times a week if possible.
They started to realize how much they had in common.
And when he returned to Georgetown for good, they began a life together.
Things evolved real fast. He had a child, and it just went from there. He was excited, especially when he found out it was a boy. So he was like, oh, I got a mini-me.
In 2007, the couple had a second child, a daughter they named Jai Kiera.
By the spring of 2011, it seemed Leon and Brittany had built the family of their dreams.
He just always had a big heart, always participated in things the kids did, checking homework, giving baths, doing things as a family.
We like to do everything together. My dad, he spoils us a lot.
Leon worked hard to provide for his family, taking on several jobs in construction.
It wasn't always easy finding good jobs, but Leon was committed to taking care of his children.
He was a handy kind of guy. He couldn't do everything.
But Leon and Brittany were young and still trying to find their way.
He did propose, but at the time I wasn't ready. I was still trying to figure things out.
I'm sorry. We're too young. I'm sorry.
Eventually, the couple split. But they still shared a commitment to raising their children.
Every day we talk. I'm a real daddy's girl, so I love to be on the phone with my daddy.
And Leon stayed involved, even after he met someone new, 27-year-old Taish Rue.
Taish was very fun-loving, very outgoing.
She also had a good job working security at a local steel mill.
She was really looking for something serious and someone to settle down with, just like Leon was.
They just seemed to be on the same page about what they both wanted.
They only dated for 9 months before they started talking about tying the knot.
And when JR asked her to marry him, Taish didn't hesitate to say yes.
Who you married?
Oh my God. It's beautiful.
So what do you say?
Yes, of course, yes.
It was hurtful because I still had love for him, but he was happy.
On August 28, 2014, Leon and Taish said I do.
They had a small, intimate ceremony with their closest friends and family.
They were really looking forward to starting a future together.
It was only up from here.
But now, Leon has vanished.
His children's mother, Brittany Green, had reported him missing.
He always called their children before they went to bed. And he had not called in days. And that was very, very suspicious to her.
After filling out the initial missing persons report, Brittany sits down with detectives.
All right, Ms. Green, we just have some basic questions we need to ask.
And what she tells them about Leon's marriage to Taish will give them their first lead in the case.
It was like a separation. Taish was seeing other people cheating on him. And he actually was leaving her.
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
32-year-old Leon Harrison Jr. had put down roots in his hometown of Georgetown, South Carolina.
He was a father, a son, a brother. He seemed to love his children.
After things with his children's mother hadn't worked out, Leon had married a beautiful young woman named Taish Rue.
They had a really passionate connection.
But now, Leon's ex, Brittany, has come into the Georgetown police station to report him missing.
What is the last time you saw or spoke with Leon?
Like the 23rd. That's why we was outside. He was like, I'm gonna come get the kids on Sunday. He didn't come that Sunday, so I called his phone, couldn't get through.
Despite all the good in his life, Brittany tells the police that Leon had been going through a tough time lately.
He just had, sometimes financially, he had his problems.
She thought that Leon had been having some money problems, even with his new job.
Because of that, he was having a lot of issues with alcohol abuse.
According to Brittany, Leon was having trouble with his marriage as well.
It was going through a separation. He talked to me about her cheating and stuff like that, and he was moving on. He had actually met someone else.
Leon's love life was simply sounding more and more complicated by the minute.
Hoping to get some straight answers, detectives asked Taish to come down to the station for questioning.
She agreed to come down to the station and speak with them immediately.
All we do is try and find a man, you know what I'm saying?
She confirmed what Brittany had told them. She and Leon, they were going through a separation.
He wasn't back living with me.
We've been so off and on since pretty March of 2016.
In fact, Taish claims the couple had always had a different kind of marriage.
She said that their marriage was actually an open one.
Open marriage means I give you right to freely do whatever you want to do as long as you run it by me first.
She said they had both been involved with other people during their marriage.
But according to Taish, Leon stopped following the rules.
Leon had started to see a woman named Sylvia Hart, and he had really fallen for her.
It wasn't just a fun fling. He was in love with her.
Taish felt very betrayed and didn't approve of Leon continuing a relationship with Sylvia.
Taish admits that the last time she saw Leon, they had an argument about his new girlfriend.
Leon was going to come by Taish's house around 10 p.m. on February 25th so that he could pick up some clothes that he still had there.
Taish met him there.
When I got there, we was standing and talking on his phone. And I pulled up, I rushed over and grabbed his phone. When I grabbed his phone, I realized that he was holding to another female.
The woman Leon was talking to was Sylvia.
Are you serious right now?
She told the police that she was angry, he was angry.
We shared a few words already.
She told police that was the night that they decided to separate for good.
He came in and grabbed his stuff out the kitchen, and it just fell.
After he leaves, you said you went in your room.
I poured me a shot of tequila, and I went to sleep.
Taish claims she doesn't know where Leon went after leaving her house.
She assumed that he was going to his girlfriend's house.
If Taish was right, then Sylvia could be the last person who saw Leon.
However, Taish says there are other reasons she's concerned.
He owed people money.
According to Taish, Leon had borrowed money from a number of people.
She also said that he'd been dealing drugs on the side as a way to try to make some money.
Investigators now had several avenues to look into.
But first, they decide to check out Taish's story.
She told them her father and brother were staying at the house that night, so investigators went to talk to them.
Taish's brother is out, but the police are able to speak to her father, Alex Roos Sr.
You and Leon got along?
Oh, yeah. It's like father and son.
Okay.
Proud to be my son-in-law.
But when investigators ask about the argument between Taish and Leon on the night of February 25th, Alex says he only heard about it afterwards.
Were you at the house at that time at 10 o'clock that night?
I was in the bedroom letting down.
So you never heard?
Yeah, I never heard no commotion.
If you talk to your son, Alex,
right,
we want to talk to him.
Yes, sir.
Later that day, when Alex Jr. comes in for an interview, it's much of the same story.
Last my senior job was 25th. It was that Saturday. And actually, I didn't actually really see him. I heard him. He was outside with my sister.
Alex Jr. told the investigators that he couldn't really hear what Taish and JR were saying.
However, he is able to confirm that Leon left shortly after the argument.
I was arguing, listening to that nap. Sis came in the house, standing the door like lunch, like he stepped off and left. That was it.
Taish's story checked out.
But before detectives can refocus their investigation, their missing persons case could be upgraded to a homicide.
An unidentified body had been found in the Black River.
His hands and feet were tightly bound.
This could be their missing victim.
Okay, we'll be right down. Let's go.
Keep listening for even more jaw-dropping twists and turns in this tragic story.
"32-year-old Leon Harrison Jr. has been missing for over 2 weeks, and no one knows if he's dead or alive."
I'm already thinking the worst because we know JR. We know how he loved on his kids. We know if he haven't seen his kids, something is wrong.
Now, a call from the county sheriff's office could tell them what that something is.
It's about 16 miles from the town of Georgetown. A body was discovered in the Black River.
Okay, we're on our way. Let's go.
That area of the county is not very populated. There are no houses. So we were very fortunate. A concerned citizen who saw something called it in.
When detectives arrive, they quickly realize this is no accidental drowning victim.
Once they got the body out of the river, they saw that he was bound hand and foot with speaker wire.
He was a male, and he did physically match the description of Mr. Harrison just based on height and weight.
But the body is unrecognizable.
After 2 weeks, the remains were beginning to decompose, and they were bloated and discolored from being in the water.
He was identified by, initially, a distinctive tattoo on his forearm.
Investigators now feel confident they found Leon Harrison Jr., but several questions still remain.
When Leon's body was transported to the medical examiner's office, they couldn't figure out how he had died.
The body was so degraded at that point, we couldn't determine exactly what caused his death.
There was a large wound on his side, and there were some other smaller wounds on his legs and arms, but his organ systems were still intact, and they weren't able to find any injuries that would have been immediately fatal.
Despite the uncertainty, the death is ruled a homicide.
A key factor was where his body was found and how it was bound.
Which means the Georgetown Police's missing persons case is now a murder investigation.
It was very hard having his 2 children and having to explain to them that their dad was no longer here. It was a rough time for us.
I was very, very hurt about my dad's loss. It was very tough, so I just felt sad.
While word of JR's death spreads among his family and friends, detectives receive the results of a subpoena for his cell phone records. And one number in particular grabs their attention.
On February 25th, the day he went missing, Leon had 2 calls from the same number belonging to a man named Eduardo Ortega.
The name doesn't ring any bells for JR's loved ones.
They had no idea who Eduardo was, so the detectives started digging around and found out he was a construction worker living in a cheap motel on the edge of town.
After tracking Eduardo down, the police bring him in for an interview.
Tell me how you know JR. Somebody give me his number.
Eduardo admitted that he did speak with JR on the 25th, and that was because he wanted to buy some drugs from him.
Taish said that he had issues with money and he sold drugs.
But Eduardo insists that no drugs were sold on the night of February 25th because JR never came to his room.
Okay. What time was he supposed to show up? Last call that you made me was 8:42.
Could this have been a drug deal gone wrong? Investigators hope Leon's new girlfriend, Sylvia Hart, may know more.
Leon's estranged wife, Taish Rue, believed he may have been at Sylvia's house the night before he disappeared.
Detectives contacted Sylvia, and she agreed to come in and speak with them right away.
Tell me the last day that you heard from him. Go through the whole story. It was that Saturday, which was the 25th.
Sylvia says she saw Leon before he went to Taish's house.
They were hanging out. Then she dropped him off at Taish Rue's house.
She admitted that they did get into a little bit of an argument.
While you handle your business, I'm gonna go to the club with Kiki.
What?
He sort of got an attitude, so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go because I don't want, this to be an issue tomorrow. So he's like, no, go ahead and go.
After Sylvia left, she says she got a call from Leon.
He called him, we talked, I was like, around
Leon apologized for getting upset about her going to the club without him.
We had that little conversation, so I was like, "Are you sure you know it's okay?" He was like, "Yeah, if you're dealing with anybody else, it'll come right. He's not with my mom."
However, what Sylvia says next sends the case in a whole new direction.
I went to my best friend's house. I got myself together. I did my makeup and then come back and phone me. It was from his phone, so I answered. And what time was this? This had to have been after 10 by now.
But it wasn't Leon on the other line.
It was the wife.
Thais was possessive, jealous.
She was raging about her husband having an affair.
She started talking, they all over here, talking about y'all. Smarter than me.
She was completely unhinged.
Listen, let me tell you something. This is my man.
Stay tuned for more of this roller coaster ride of lies, intrigue, and unexpected deceit on the Fatal Attraction podcast.
Detectives in Georgetown, South Carolina, have been searching for answers in the homicide case of 32-year-old Leon Harrison Jr.
His body was discovered in the Black River, which was about 16 miles from the town of Georgetown.
He was found bound hand and foot. The only way that we could determine that it was JR was by his tattoo.
When they found his body, we didn't know what happened. We just didn't know how he got killed or anything.
But in speaking to Leon's new girlfriend, Sylvia Hart, detectives now feel like they're getting closer to the truth.
Got another call from his phone, but it was her again.
According to Sylvia, she got an angry call from Thais Rue shortly after she dropped Leon off at Taish's home.
Thais had told investigators that when Leon was at her house that night, she saw that he was talking to Sylvia and she snatched the phone away from him. She had never said anything about calling Sylvia.
Hey, babe.
Who are you? Tell me who you are right now. This is his wife.
She blessed her out. I mean, absolutely blessed her out.
And then she called back maybe like 5 minutes after that, and I didn't answer.
So Thais left a voicemail.
That voicemail was just laced with profanity. It was, you thought you got one over on me. You thought that you're on top of the world. You thought that you were really gonna win this.
And that's when I got a text from the phone number and he said, "I can't be with you no more. I don't love you. I'm never quit."
Sylvia was heartbroken, but she also felt like the situation had gotten out of control and she needed to just try to move on.
But now, Sylvia tells investigators she's afraid Thais did something to Leon that night.
The relationship between Thais and JR was very tumultuous. They were on again, off again.
They always ended up getting back together.
Until he met Sylvia.
Sylvia and Leon had really fallen in love.
Thais is no longer the main person in his life.
He said that she's, getting him equal co-violent.
According to Sylvia, Leon also had problems with Taisha's brother, Alex Rue Jr.
They don't get along because he's always put in the mix of their issues in their marriage. So, of course, the brothers want to take the sister's side.
Based on how they were raised, he's going to be there sort of in a ride or die kind of situation.
He had an obsession with his sister. No one understood their relationship. It was weird.
Sylvia suspects that Thais and her brother had something to do with Leon's death.
He once mentioned that his wife said that, if she can have him, nobody can.
The voicemails that Taish left on Sylvia's phone were enough evidence to show that despite the talk of an open marriage, Taish was jealous and angry about Sylvia's relationship with Leon.
Taish may recognize that the relationship is over. It's going to be challenging for her to accept that and to let JR go without letting him know how angry she really is.
But was she angry enough to kill her husband?
The investigators obtained a search warrant for the last place Leon was known to have been, Taish Rue's house.
When they get there, they start looking under rugs and blankets that are on the floor. When they pulled up one of the rugs, the carpet was cut out.
And it's clear why.
Underneath on the padding, there are stains.
It had soaked into the plywood subfloor.
Someone had lost a lot of blood in that house.
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
Police in Georgetown, South Carolina, believe that Taish Rue is involved in the murder of her estranged husband, Leon Harrison Jr.
Even though Taish and Leon had what she described as an open marriage, things seem to have gone sideways when he began dating Sylvia Hart.
Leon had actually fallen in love with Sylvia, which was not supposed to happen in Taish's mind.
Now detectives executing a search warrant at the home she shares with her father and brother have found damning evidence.
When they lift the rug, there's a portion of the carpet missing. There's blood on the carpet padding underneath.
Blood had soaked through to the plywood underneath the carpet and carpet padding.
And someone had tried to hide it.
Looking at the stain pattern, you could obviously see, based on the ring, that there had been efforts at cleaning.
Then, looking around the room, they find more blood.
There's blood on the edge of the mattress.
Blood was also found on the wall.
Swabs of each area are collected. And it doesn't take long for the state lab to confirm what detectives already suspect.
The blood was matched to Leon Harrison Jr.'s DNA. So police knew that he had been killed or at least attacked inside of the home.
Police immediately bring Taish Rue in for another interview. And they start by asking about the aggressive call she made to Sylvia.
Taish said that the calls were just part of the argument with Leon that she told them about in her first interview.
When he said there were other females that he was dealing with, just like there were other guys that I was dealing with, never lied you from jump about both of us had infidelity.
And when they ask about the bloodstains found in her home, she says she can explain.
She had different excuses for why there was blood on the carpet.
One was that, well, JR gets nosebleeds.
Well, do you know anytime he bled that much? Because that
For a nosebleed, yeah.
No, that ain't no nosebleed.
She said that carpet had always had those holes in them. That's why I bought a rug and put it over it.
I just don't think you're telling the truth. Okay?
Sir, I don't have a reason to lie. I would never hurt my husband.
Well, somebody did.
Eventually, Taish realizes she can't explain it away.
Can you please give me a lawyer or let me...
Yes, ma'am.
Am I under arrest?
No.
The investigators were certain that she was involved in Leon's death, but they didn't have the hard evidence they needed to make an arrest yet.
After Taish is released, detectives receive an unexpected visit from a man named Freddie Gordon, who claims to have information on Taish's brother, Alex Jr.
He had his own business, and Alex was actually working for him.
Freddie told the investigators that days before Leon's body was found in the river, Alex had come to him and asked for a favor.
Alex Trump and wanted me to take him and pick up some furniture from off the child furniture store. So, yeah,
Somehow, JR came up during this time about how nobody had really seen him. And Alex looked at him and said, I took him for a ride.
Take him for a ride.
What did that make you say? What did you think you did?
He said, I knew what it meant. He killed him.
He said he's out of here.
Alex Jr. also told Freddie why he'd killed Leon.
Taish had told Alex Jr. that Leon was cheating on her.
When you were like that, my sister called me. She was all hysterical, and I knew what I had to do.
He said, he's making my sister upset, and I want to do something about it.
But Freddie says that he didn't really take Alex seriously at first.
He described Alex Rue Jr. as a boastful, fast-talking type person.
Always lying. So I just chalk it up as a lie.
When he heard that Leon Harrison Jr.'s body had been found, he realized that Alex had been telling the truth.
After interviewing Freddie Gordon, detectives decide to put Alex Rue Jr. under the microscope.
When they ran his name through their database, they found that he had a history of arrest for minor offenses. In fact, he spent several days in the county jail after JR went missing.
When they take a look at the Rue family's cell phone records, they find even more evidence against them.
Alex Rue Sr., Alex Rue Jr., and Taish Rue were all together that night.
All three cell phones were at their home, which is exactly where they told police they'd been.
But the GPS data shows that they weren't there all night.
The phones do later leave the home.
Taish Rue's phone stays at the house, but Alex Sr. and Alex Jr. travel away from the house.
The two phones ping off a cell tower near a Walmart in Georgetown.
Now, this is at 1 a.m. Rue Sr. said that he had been asleep since around 9:30, and Alex Rue Jr. said that he had been asleep since approximately 10 p.m. that evening. Both of them said they never left the house that night.
Detectives are able to obtain the store's surveillance videos from that night.
Police obtained Walmart security footage. And looking through hours of footage, they saw Alex Jr. and Alex Sr. entering Walmart.
And that's not all.
We were able to get the register receipt.
They bought 2 bottles of hydrogen peroxide.
Peroxide is really good for getting blood out.
Keep listening for even more jaw-dropping twists and turns in this tragic story.
Detectives investigating the murder of Leon Harrison Jr. have just uncovered security footage showing his father-in-law and brother-in-law buying cleaning chemicals on the night that he was killed.
The two men had gone to purchase peroxide at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Alex was supposed to be in bed, asleep since 10 o'clock. He lied to the police.
Combined with the blood evidence from their home, detectives filed formal charges against Taish, Alex Jr., and Alex Sr.
They were each charged with murder.
And on March 31st, 2017, Alex Sr. is arrested.
What's going on? You got a warrant? Warrant for what?
By the end of the week, Taish and Alex Jr. are also in custody.
When they made the arrest, it's a relief for us because we had a feeling deep down inside that she had something to do with it.
With the suspects in custody, prosecutors begin preparing the case for trial.
This was an extremely difficult case.
We had no cell data or anything to show who went to the river. We had nothing that ever put anyone at the river.
We did not have a murder weapon. We did not know exactly how JR died.
However, as detectives compile the evidence they do have, an unexpected witness comes forward.
He had been incarcerated with Alexander Rue Jr. He had some additional information.
Alexander Rue Jr. was moved to a jail in the adjacent county. While he was there, he was put in the same block as the informant.
And it turns out they had a lot to talk about.
They realized that they were both from Georgetown and just started chit-chatting. They started talking and realized that they knew some of the same people. Well, the informant said something along the lines of, "What about that JR guy?"
And Alex couldn't resist bragging.
Alex Jr. told him that he was involved in the murder of JR.
He told this informant that they dumped the body and they were going to get away with it.
Armed with the informant's testimony, prosecutors head into trial 4 years after JR's death.
The theory of our case was that it was a combination of jealousy, of not feeling financially supported, and that everything sort of culminated on the night of February 25th.
Taish had lured Leon over to the house to get some of his things.
The prosecutors believed that Taish intended to confront Leon about what she viewed as his mistreatment of her, and her brother was there to help her do it.
Look, man, I just came to get my stuff.
He was taught that it is his responsibility to care for and protect his sister.
Stop playing with my sister. But I done told you. This ain't got nothing to do with you.
What is this?
When there is an open relationship, sometimes ground rules are laid. And in this particular situation, saying I love you was one of the ground rules that was being violated.
What the hell is going on?
We don't know how his life ended. We don't know what happened. But you know that it was anger involved, anger and rage.
I never loved you like I love her.
We never could determine who actually was the person that ended JR's life. We knew it was Alex Jr., Alex Sr., and Taish. But who gave the fatal blow? We couldn't tell you.
Once JR was dead, they bound his hands and feet and drove his body to the Black River.
The prosecutors didn't know what the murder weapon was, but since it was never found, they speculated that it was also disposed of in the river.
And they spent the next few hours covering their tracks.
Alexander Rue Sr. and Alexander Rue Jr. went to Walmart and purchased peroxide.
They cut out the section of the carpet that was soaked in JR's blood. Then they used hydrogen peroxide to try to clean the blood out of the carpet padding.
And when it's the defense's turn, they argue that the prosecution's account is merely speculation.
The defense attorneys tried to make a big deal out of the fact that we didn't have a cause of death and said, for all we know, he died of natural causes. But obviously, there was no way that he could have had an accidental death.
Miss Richardson actually said, you don't just tie yourself up and throw yourself in the river.
But will the jury agree?
The first person's verdict to be read was Alexander Rue Sr., whether or not he was guilty on the charge of murder. And they said not guilty. And my heart absolutely just dropped.
However, they don't believe he's completely innocent.
Alexander Rue Sr. was found not guilty of the murder, but guilty of obstruction of justice and was placed on probation.
However, the jury feels differently about Taish and Alex Jr.
They read out the rest of the verdicts, and both Taish Rue and Alexander Rue Jr. were convicted of murder and obstruction of justice.
They were sentenced to 37 years.
The verdict is a relief to the Harrison family.
This was not a shoo-in of a case.
It took years and years to get justice.
I cried. He was waiting on it for so long.
But while it may make it easier to bear the weight of their pain, no punishment can make up for what the family has lost.
His children lost their father. No one can ever fill those shoes.
We talk about the good times. I always tell them, like, their dad is not physically here, but he's there, always.
I know he's still with me. I want to say to my dad, every time I smile, I would think of you, and I will make you proud.
What a startling twist in the tale of a revered military dad, Leon Harrison Jr., a man whose life was devoted to his children, a complex web of deceit followed by the ultimate betrayal. It's difficult to comprehend what could lead someone to commit such atrocious acts. Gone too soon. Friends and family who knew Leon will forever cherish the memory of his vibrant spirit and charismatic charm. His legacy, filled with love and laughter, will continue to resonate in the hearts of those who adored him. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
She was a dedicated single mom who'd found a second shot at love.
He was a Christian man. He attended college.
He checks all the boxes.
It seemed like a storybook romance.
And soon their family was growing.
She found out she was pregnant.
She was expecting twins. It was exciting.
Her fairy tale had come true.
But they wouldn't get their fairy tale ending.
In the coastal city of Virginia Beach, Virginia, residents are left baffled as family, friends, and law enforcement grapple with the mysterious disappearance of a beloved 39-year-old mother. Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.